clouds inside my sleep. Sometimes if they are fake, they still dig deep. And when I follow them to the back of my mind, I find that I've gone too far this time. Too far this time.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? I have a little background noise because sometimes the audio doesn't go through, and being a one-man show sometimes is a struggle. Let me just double check here. We're good. You hear us. All right, we are live. Episode, what number are we? It's another thing I'm terrible at because I do so many different things. 106. 106. How do you feel about that?
At least I'm not one.
Yeah. Number one. That was a long time ago. But we're here today with Taylor Pecika. I graduated with your brother.
Yes, Bill.
Yeah, and then you had a middle sister.
Yes, Paige, and she lives out in Pittsburgh now.
Really?
Yeah, she's lived out there, I don't know, 8 years-ish.
And then you're more around my brother's age. Maybe you're a little older than my brother.
Yeah, I'm like 4 years older than your brother.
Yeah.
I'm 27.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. You're in that ballpark. But we've known each other for a very long time. That living in a small coal region town, you'll have that. Just being from the same school and town, Monty City and Monty Area School District. Yep. Yeah. Usually how most people remember me is the basketball years. Your mom used to work at the school. Still does?
Yeah, she's the secretary for the vice principal.
Oh, yeah. Nice. She was always amazing because I spent some time sometimes in the offices and she'd be like, what do you do? What'd you do now?
This is one thing that I've inherited from her is she is absolutely hot and cold.
Yeah.
She's either the nicest, biggest sweetheart, and before I say anything else, Mom, tomorrow's Mother Day. I love you. And if I say any off-colored things and some bad words, I'm sorry. I'm going to try and watch my sailor mouth as much as I can.
It's my fault. I'm a bad influence on the podcast.
I'm a construction worker. I'm terrible. But yeah, she's hot and cold. She's either the nicest, sweetest lady in the world, or if you do anything sideways, she will let you know that instant.
Mm-hmm.
And you ain't getting off the hook either. And she also holds grudges like no one else I've ever known. So she will hold that against you until you prove her wrong.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever gotten her bad side. Hopefully not. But she was always
very... You'd remember.
I definitely would know or remember. But yeah, she was always super nice to me. I always was a big fan of her. But what is your brother doing now?
He works for Pecika, and he's living down in Reading.
Oh, nice.
The way he described his job to me is like basically 2 or 3 years ago, Pecika opened up some sort of division where, like, if you have your Class A driver's license to drive like big rigs and whatnot, you can go to Pecika and say like, "Hey, I need a job," and it's like kind of like Uber, but for truck drivers.
Yeah, you can get like commissioned.
Yeah, so they'll tell you like, hey, go here, pick up this truck, drive it there, and drive it back, and we'll pay you X. So he manages all the like software for that.
Oh, cool. That's neat. Before we get any further, sorry, we just jumped right in there. I want to thank our Patreon subscribers. We do have a Patreon account. It's $1 for a shout out, $5 for a shout out, and some bonus content. We are changing up the bonus content a little bit. We say 2-week period. Then it will start airing it. I like some of the stuff we recorded, and I think most of the people who subscribe on Patreon don't really watch the content. They're just there to support. Just be like, hey, I don't really like.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I barely ever. I basically never watch podcasts, but I listen to them.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, if your podcast doesn't have an audio source, I'm probably not gonna fuck with it because if I'm at work, like I'm not gonna have my YouTube player going. I'm just gonna download it and listen. I want to thank Tommy B, the Tree of Life Metaphysical Shop, Brad Zalonis, Hireth and Other Words Podcast, Jay and Austin Blackwell, whoever that weird kid is. Yeah. And then also we want to thank our sponsorship, if I can find it. Here it is. Abaddon Tattoo Studio, a unique professional experience nestled in the small town of Pine Grove, Pennsylvania. They provide high quality tattoos and piercings in a relaxed and sterile environment. So huge thank you to them as well. Definitely go check them out. Maybe if we get some interactions here in the chat, maybe we'll do a gift card giveaway. I have a bunch of different local business gift cards. And if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. We already have one person say something. Craig Henrington.
Yo, Craig
said, holy shit, Taylor hasn't aged a bit.
That's great.
You do look very youthful still.
Baby face.
Yeah.
I love it. I shave maybe once a week, more like every 10 days or 2 weeks. It's great. Shave today for the first time in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I can't. If I shave, I look weird. I think I'm used to the shitty beard now, so I just keep it.
Yeah.
If I shave it off, people are like, what are you doing? Plus, I'm kind of fat. Plus, when you're fat and you don't have a beard, it hides a lot of those chins and stuff. Maybe if I get skinny again, I'll get a beard. I'll cut the beard off. But until then, it's a cloaking device.
One thing I will say about that is it's 90% diet.
Yeah.
If you ever want to lose weight and everyone's like, oh, you got to go to the gym, you can sit on the couch and do what you've been doing. If you just switch up the foods that you eat, not even the foods really, you could eat the same stuff.
Just portion.
What it comes down when it comes down to is calories in versus calories out.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says.
Yes,
you can sit here and listen, but in the same breath, like I still enjoy myself.
Yeah.
So like I don't drink crazy and I don't drink every day of the week or anything like that. But it's Saturday now, and
I'm a weekend warrior, is what I say.
I'm gonna have a beer.
Yeah, I'm a weekend warrior. All right, I'm a podcast drinker. I have like a couple during a podcast.
Yeah.
But I podcast like 3 times a week. So we are drinking. It's gonna be a mixed episode today. It's gonna be interviews with everyday people, some Tornado Tag podcast, and then some banging beers. But he brought some beers for us to try today. So the first one we're cracking into is New Trail Brewing Company Heliocentric Series. This is the Blackberry Lemonade. Tart with blackberries and Meyer lemons. I'm usually not a fan of lemon flavored stuff, but the blackberry is nice with this.
Yeah, it definitely tones the lemon down a lot.
And we get a lot of beer burps during this.
I haven't had one of these heliocentrics that I didn't like.
I'm not sure who that is on Twitch there. But he just says fucker, so he probably knows one of us, or you, or maybe he doesn't know either one of us. He's just having some fun on Twitch, which is thankful. Thank you for hanging out with us on Twitch. I'm actually starting game streaming again soon.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I might start. I might even do it tonight. Play some Fortnite or something like that. That's kind of like my little guilty pleasure game. Me and my buddy play all the time. I'm pretty decent at it. I just can't build. If you build, you're probably going to beat me in a fight. But it's a fun shooter, and I could play as Batman. I'm on a tear right now. Yeah, they added Batman to the game. But anyway, what's your main topic you want to talk about today is vocational education.
Exactly. So every year, aside from this past year because of COVID, I wasn't allowed to. I get a day off in November. The way I work for a union, and the way my union has our holiday scheduled, every presidential election year we get that Tuesday off. But then every other the following 3 years, I don't know if it's. I feel terrible that I don't remember this, but I don't. I don't know if it's President's Day that's in November or if it's like, it's one of those.
If I don't get off work, I don't know what it is.
It's one of those days, and I'm pretty sure it's normally a Monday. But anyway, I go into Mana area and I talk to the. Now they just changed it. I don't know if you know this, but they just changed it now VOTEC is 9th through 12th.
Really?
So this past year I talked to the 8th graders. Well, 2 years ago it'd be now. I talked to 8th graders, and I know like every school in Schuylkill County that goes to STC, they
which is
bring in
Schuylkill County. That's is it central?
It's Schuylkill Technical Center.
Okay. And it's broke up to north and south, right?
Yeah.
They still do the 2 schools?
Yeah. So I don't know how that works, how like each school chooses which center they're going to go to.
I think it goes down to what class you want to take.
Or if you go to both. No.
Really?
Yeah. I don't remember how we did it when I was a freshman, but basically every school takes all of their, I guess it'd be 8th graders now, to each VOTEC. I want to say, more thinking about it, I think we went to both.
Yeah.
But they go on a field trip, and you go to each shop. Come into the shop, teacher tells you, hey, like, shout out Mr. Hess, my VOTEC teacher. He's the reason I'm an electrician, and he's an incredible human. Can't say more about
Shout out to Mr. Wank. You're the reason I'm not in plumbing.
But anyway, they'll give their spiel about the shop, and it's like 10 minutes, and then you're on to the next one, and so on and so forth. So what I wanted to reiterate with the kids is, I know being in the school, most teachers, and whether it's to a fault or not, they push college really hard.
Yes.
Everybody pushes college really hard. And I just want to put across to parents, especially, because I've talked to countless people that say like one of my best friends that I work with, he's from Minersville, and he told me his parents said like, no, you're not going to Votech, like you're going to college. And now he went to college for a couple of years, didn't want to do it, got out, did like landscaping for a couple of years, and then got into my union apprenticeship. And he's actually a year older than me, but he's only like a third-year apprentice now. Whereas I started working the day I got my high school diploma on a Thursday, started working on Monday.
Yeah.
Been working ever since. So if all I'm trying to say is like if he would have been able to get that leg up and the stigma would have been away from the Votech, that like, oh, you go to Votech, that you're a dumb
started
kid,
his journey earlier.
something like that, you could be so much further ahead and have more of a purpose. Because like that's another thing. Like kids go to college fresh out of high school, they don't know what they're doing. Like, oh, I'll just do gen ed, and they just party. And that whole time you're young, and I get it, but you don't realize that you took what, $20,000-$30,000 out in school loans, and you're just going to party for 2 years, do that, and then realize I don't want to do this. And then you turn around and go into a trade, and you want to be a plumber, electrician, carpenter, or whatever you want to do, and you got $60,000 plus of student loans staring at you.
Yep.
For what?
And interest.
For what?
Yep.
For you just paid $60,000 to party for 2 years.
Yeah. We have plenty of bars in town.
Why?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And even moreover on that, like I have friends, like I have a really big friend group. I think there's like 11 of us in a group chat, and it's every day, ball busting, all that.
Nice.
But we always stay together. You would know all the names: Gavel, the Brumels.
Michael.
Absolutely.
I haven't talked to Michael in forever.
Didn't change a bit.
Yeah.
Didn't change a bit.
Oh my God. I remember that kid when he was a baby, like a baby.
You know Jimmy Baker.
Yeah.
He's in it. The Brumels, Andy Kuzma. I feel terrible. Dylan Maymod.
Dylan.
I gotta look him up.
How's he been?
He has a kid, and he lives in Lansford.
Wow. Remember he got put in a rap video, like a song?
Yeah,
his
Matty
name,
Fresh.
Matty Fresh.
Nate Fegley.
Yeah.
Frank Chictano, Nick Fort.
Okay.
Strongest man in school in Pennsylvania. Don't at me.
Yeah.
Love you, Nick.
I should have him on. He's won a bunch of competitions and stuff.
He's going into the two biggest powerlifting meets in, excuse me if I'm wrong, Nick, but in the world.
That's awesome.
One's in Illinois, and I think the other one's, they're both middle America.
I have a cousin
one's in
Jersey who does powerlifting.
Neil Goodman, though, I want to shout him out too, though. He's in.
Oh yeah, Neil's a good dude. All those kids are good kids.
Yeah,
yeah.
But back to what I was saying with that though is all of them except for me went to college.
Mm-hmm.
They all went to high school, and they would bust my balls all the time about going to Votech when I was in Votech. Like, they would always, Pecika, Tet Rack.
Yeah.
Bust my balls real hard, whatever. When we all graduated high school, they went to college, then I would work all during the week, making money.
Mm-hmm.
And then on Friday night, I would drive to Bloomsburg and party all weekend, or drive to East Stroudsburg and party all weekend. So I wasn't like nailed down at one school. So I got to like experience the party scene of every school around here.
And you already had your ins for
Yeah. I could sleep on a couch or something like that.
I had very similar experiences. So what shop did you end up taking? Electrical?
Dave Hess is the teacher for residential, industrial, electrical.
Okay.
So you learn everything from.
I don't think electrical was a shop.
Yeah, it was.
When I was.
It's been because he went through the same shop.
Really? Okay.
He worked for Albarel for.
Was that Frackville?
No, it's in Marlin.
Okay, really?
But there is I think it's electromechanical.
I think that's what
Frackville.
It was. Oh, was the electrical shop? Oh, you know what? I'm starting to remember. It was the electrical shop by the welding shop in the basement
in Marlin. Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was. So we were where I remember.
We were at the end of the hall.
We were at the end.
Yeah.
Plumbing. Then it was
carpentry,
and then
electrical.
Oh, it was electrical then
welding.
Well, okay, maybe that's where the divide was, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know that. All right, now I'm starting to. The gears are turning because electrical used to come and rewire our house, Like we used to have to do
Yeah,
fake
yeah,
houses.
back in those days, yeah, you'd build the house. We didn't do that when I was in. But
Yeah, so the shop would come in and build a house. Electrical would come on the electrical,
Wiring.
and then we would do all of the plumbing. And it was like working on an actual like frame of a house, and like they had the little crawl space that you can slide underneath, which was like everyone went there and did bad things.
Naturally.
Yeah. Yeah, I do remember that now. Electrical. Yeah, so I also went to the Marlin Center. I think I spent more time in cosmetology than I did my shop.
One of my shout out Johnny Shefsick. God knows if he'll ever hear this or see this, but he was pretty much one of my best friends throughout the whole throughout our whole stint. We ended up going all 3 years together, and he dated a girl up there, and we would always go up there. And
I mean, I dated girls too over there.
So he went up there to like see his girlfriend get his haircut, and I would just have like one of her friends give me a scalp massage for $5. It was great.
Yeah,
scalp massage underrated. By the way.
I would just go up there and hang out. Or that at the cafeteria. The cafeteria is my thing. Well, our shop was a little different. Like by the time you hit your senior year, it was kind of like you didn't really do much.
Mm-hmm.
You did your senior project, and that was kind of it. And you like helped the younger classmen. But at that point in time, because I was on the wrong side of the school, County Mountain, I wasn't really thought of very highly by my shop teacher.
You definitely get that stigma. Don't get me wrong, because like anybody from what is it, Monoy?
I was the only kid from our side of the mountain that went to that shop.
They look down upon us because we're like the dirty side of the county or whatever you want to call it. And I really don't care. But my mentality with that and life in general is I'm gonna come in there, I'm gonna kick your teeth in, and I'm gonna show you who's running the shop.
Yeah,
and that's what happened.
No, I just stayed quiet and just did my thing. I remember stuff. So like if someone said something to me, I'd be like, all right, cool. Like,
you remember that forever.
And then he'd say something, and then I would do something, and he'd be like, you're in trouble. I'm like, remember that one time you said that? And he'd be like, do what you want.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Memory of an elephant.
Yeah, he the one time he threw like a foam ball at me. This is hilarious because Mr. Wank was tinier. He was a shorter guy.
I remember I think his last year was either my first or second year.
Yeah,
because I remember there was a new plumbing teacher, either my junior or senior.
He was a ball buster, but he wasn't always an ass. But I mean, towards my senior year, he kind of treated me like garbage, and I would kind of give it back to him. But he even with a ball, like a navy squishy ball, and he's like, "Where'd it go?" I'm like, "I don't know." And I had it in my pocket, and he turned around, he starts teaching the class again, and I pegged him in the back of the head with it. And he's like,
awesome.
"Did you?" And he was like, "You want to go to the office?" I said, "Sure."
You threw it to me.
I was like, "You threw it at me first."
Yeah.
And he just like. He's all pissed.
Not wrong.
And then I was a decent artist. So the one year he's like, for the window painting contest, we have to paint something on our door. And I was like, all right. So I drew this picture of like a snowman, and he was holding like pipe wrenches, and it said "Merry Christmas" from the plumbing shop. And he loved it. He went to a meeting for the whole day, and it was my job to paint the door. I did this exact thing, same scenery, "Merry Christmas" from the plumbing shop, except instead of a snowman, I made it an elf. And instead of an elf, I made it Mr. Wank. And he was, and he didn't like height jokes because he was kind of short. He didn't like when you made fun of his height.
Oh, come on.
So I made him into an elf, except I had him hit his hands behind his back, making like a grin. And it said "Merry Christmas" from the plumbing shop, but it said "plumbing" in yellow snow. So like it assumed that he peed in the snow. And I painted this with no warning, no nothing. And I remember the shop teachers all came down to like losing it, like
dying.
That was funny. Then they brought the superintendent down because she came to judge them, and all the shops were like, "Go down to plumbing, just go to plumbing." And she came down and she's like, "That is the funniest thing I've ever seen." She goes, "I'm going to tell you right now, you're probably one."
Yeah.
So he comes back and he sees it. He fucking snaps, and he's like, "I'm taking you to the office." And I was like, "All right, let's go." So we
already told me we want.
Yeah, so we walk up, and he's like, "Oh, what's going on, Mr. Mike? Oh, you brought Anthony." And he's like, "Yeah, I brought Anthony." And she's like, "Oh, good thing you're here. We just announced the winner. It's going to be you guys." And I went, "Could you imagine that? We won." And he just couldn't yell at me then. He's like,
"Yeah, like what do you say then?"
Yeah, he's like, "Let's go back to the shop." And I was like, "Everyone, you got ice cream. You're welcome. Thank Mr. Alf Wank out there." And he's just like, "You cock," like, yeah.
Bastard.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, I was a little con artist in school.
And then I know with the VOTEC system, I know this started, I don't know if it started like the year before I got in or when I was in there, but what I do remember is like they started this thing where it's like graded. I don't know if the right term is on a scale or what, but like basically like I know in the electrical shop, and I'm pretty positive it was set up this way in all the other shops too. You can get X amount of, there's X amount of, let's say there's 100 projects that you can do in that year.
Mm-hmm.
No one ever does the 100, right? It's like impossible. They give you way more than you could ever do. But let's say I do 80 and you only do 40. I'm not going to get 100 and you're not going to get a 50. It's you get graded on how good the projects are, not how many you do. So I think that's another thing that plays into the role, just doing more work.
Yeah. Ours was done by modules, and everyone had to be everyone was at the same level.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's how. Yeah. I know some shops they do it that way, where like 1 year they learn like soldering, maybe for plumbing, and like the next year you learn.
Soldering's like I think the first thing they teach you. It's crazy. They jump right into that because then you have to. No. At first it's thread, then we go to soldering and thread, and then you kind of he'll give you a diagram and be like you have to have a 12-inch pipe, 12-inch pipe, 4-inch pipe, and you have to like do it with just 90s, and then you have to do one with 45s, and it has to connect, and you have to tighten your union, and then they do like a water test and stuff.
Check pressure, make sure you don't blow seal or anything.
And then you go over and loosen someone's a little bit and play with them.
Absolutely. That was the whole fun about tech, baby. Sabotaging people.
Do you ever watch anyone get like hurt or anything like that? It's cool.
I did.
You got hurt?
Oh yeah.
What happened?
I got cocky, naturally, and I had a panel open and I had it on. Not supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I got cocky, like I said, and I was just, I'm just gonna put this in here real quick. I'm not gonna turn it off, whatever, because somebody else had their project on or something like that. And I ended up getting one hand on one phase and one hand on the other phase, and it locked me up.
Oh.
And thank God, I guess I had my weight on my heels when I did it. So I did it and locked up. If you know anything about electricity, that's what it does. It you can't move. It locks your muscles up. So when I touched both of them, it locked me up. And thank God I had my weight on my heels because I fell back and I fell into the wall and I just sat down on the ground. And like all the guys in my shop were like, "Oh my God, like you all right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I just got hung up." And the teacher came and he's like, "All right." I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna sit right here." I sat there for like an hour. But
yeah, electricity scares the fuck out of me.
It's nothing to screw with.
Yeah, no, thank you.
100%. Like a lot of people say, like, I don't know how you do what you do, things like that. Like, what it comes down to is with any trade, because you think about carpenters, they use like circular saws. Plumbers, you're using torches for soldering. Welders, that's a crazy thing to do. You're melting steel together. Like that's great.
That's the field I wish I would have went into.
What it comes down to is respecting what you're doing. Being knowledgeable about it is number one. Number one is having the knowledge, not going in there and thinking like going to like Home Depot and reading like a 1, 2, 3 book and thinking like, yeah, I could wire this house. Like you can't. Number one. Number two, yeah, you have to respect it. Number two over everything. Have the knowledge, and once you have the knowledge, then you need to respect it. Then you can go forward from there.
Yeah.
Because if you don't respect it, something bad, it's not if, it's when it's going to happen. And
it's like a snake. There's no warning either. It just hits. I hate that.
No.
So there's plumbing, carpentry, electrician, welding. We said cosmetology, home economics. Not home economics. Culinary. Yeah, home economics a little different. Culinary. Small engine was up there.
Small engines in Frackville, I remember. I don't know that much about the Frackville.
Auto mechanic. I think Frackville has a carpentry and bolt schools.
There might be.
Yeah, I think they each have one.
I know
that's where you can choose which one you.
I know there's diesel mechanics. There's auto mechanics. There's auto body.
Auto body.
My dad went to that shop way back in the day. Carpentry.
Is there there was a computer one too as well?
There was an agriculture. Oh, there was drafting.
Yeah.
CAD and drafting. There was an agriculture shop there when I was there at Marlin, but I'm not sure if they dropped that or not.
They should add like graphic design.
That might be in the CAD class, honestly.
You know, it's probably going to be coming soon too, like 3D printing.
That might be in the school as well. Honestly, I haven't been there because of COVID. So like that was another thing. So like, yeah, I said before, I went to Monterey and I talked to 8th graders. Whenever I had a chance, like sometimes I'd like my company, we do some work at Hydro over in Cressona, the aluminum plant. every now and then I'll work a goofy schedule and I'll get out at like noon or something like that. I would drive over to the Votech and I'd come in and I'd talk to the kids. Like, hey, I graduated from this shop. Like, I'm going to tell you what you basically have to look forward to, your options when you get out of here, what the real world's like, because we didn't really have that many people do that when I was in. And I think it's good to hear from someone other than Mr. Hess. Like,
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, Mr. Hess, again, he's the most passionate guy I've ever met.
Is he still teaching?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's the most passionate guy I've ever met about the trade. Like, he eats, sleeps, and dies electrical. He knows everything about everything. It's awesome. But just like anything, it's like having a sibling, like or your parents, when they tell you something over and over and over again, it's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, Mr. S. Okay, that's fine. It's always good to have a second, third, fourth opinion. So that's why I always like to come in and talk to people, talk to kids, let them know, hey, this is what it's like on the other side.
Now, did you go straight to a union, or did you work? See, that's probably where you benefited
absolutely
than I did.
And I got super lucky with that. I don't miss that for a second. I got super lucky.
Yeah.
I graduated high school in 2012. So you minus that 4 years, 2008, economy crashes, right?
Yeah.
So when I was a senior, one day everything kind of just hit me, and I said to Mr. Hess, I said, hey, I don't know what I want to do when I get out of here. And like, can we have like a one-on-one kind of conversation here? So he said, yeah. And like, whatever time, meet me in the theory room, which is, for those that don't know,
the classroom.
It's a little classroom inside the larger shop. It's walled off so you can have your bookwork time away from the actual working with tools time. So we had a little one-on-one in there, and my dad always pushed the idea of being in a union because he was in laborers union. And basically when I was an infant, work got really bad with them, and he called all the surrounding locals, say like, hey, I need work. And they basically all told him to go pound sand. Like, sorry, it is what it is. And he had 3 kids at home. He had to put food on the table. So he's been working with the same company ever since. And they treat him great, but they're not union. But he always told me, like, once I got into the trades, like, if you're gonna do it, like, I strongly suggest you get into a union, because that's like the one mistake I wish I can go back and change, but it is what it is. So he's like, all right, well, if that's what you want to do, like, I can call up my guy and we can start getting the wheels moving. I said, all right, thinking like, all right, sounds good. Like, we'll talk about this tomorrow or something like that. He turns around, picks up the phone. He calls the guy right there.
Yeah.
All right. Calls the guy that does all the administrative work for my union, and says like, hey, you haven't taken anybody off me in 4 years. If you ain't going to take this kid, I don't know what to tell you, because this is the best kid I had through the shop so far. So in the back of my head, I'm like,
he set a high bar.
now I got to live up to this. So I went through what you have to do to get in my union, and I'm pretty positive most of your unions are the same way. You go in, you take an aptitude test. It's algebra and reading.
Yeah.
And if you do good enough on that, then they pull you in like 2 or 3 weeks later, and
that's what screwed me, was the algebra.
You get an interview. That's opposite for me. That's the only thing I've ever been good at is math.
Yeah. Well, going back to Monte area. So when I was in Votech, they gave you the same 4 classes all 4 years you were there. So you had the same math, the same literature, the same science, the same, all that same fun stuff. So we were pretty much put in basic math classes for 4 years. When I came back so I went for 2 years to North Schuylkill, and then came back to Monte area. So when I was in North Schuylkill,
I never knew that.
Yeah, I used my grand's address so I can play soccer, because Monte area wouldn't provide soccer.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
we never had soccer.
So I was like kind of illegally going to North Schuylkill for 2 years, and then our house burned down on South Street. We had a really, really bad house fire. So you know where Gavel lives?
Yeah.
If you go up that alley and make a right behind the church, there's like the prayer garden, and there's like an empty lot. Our house was that empty lot. Yeah. Like the night my house burned down, I was out front playing. I was the official QB for Michael. Like, it was Michael and all his crew, and they were playing in the alley in the snow. And it was January, I believe. No, something like that. And
cold out.
It was cold. And I was actually playing official quarterback for Michael and a bunch of people. And we were all sitting there playing. My mom comes busting out of the house with my little brother, and she's like, the house is on fire. And I was like, shut up, go in the house. And then like, I went up the porch, and it was, sure enough, it was going full blown. And my mom and Austin, because Austin wasn't even dressed, went to the Gavel's house, and they were sat there until my dad came with the fire department.
God, I
And it was
that, man.
yeah, it was a crazy time. But so when I went to North Schuylkill, they put me in basic math, and then when I came back to Monty area, they threw me in algebra like 2 or 3, and like, and his name was Mr. Clock. He was about to retire.
Mr. Clock, I don't remember that name.
And I was like, I have no shot at this. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I've never even learned like basic algebra. And he's like, how? And I was like, North Schuylkill didn't put me in they threw like, when I got there, they just threw me in classes. And now here you're throwing me in advance. And then after you learned algebra 1 or 2,
sense. You think they'd look at your transcript and say like, oh, this is where he's at?
It was a shit show. And then they just when I went to Votech, they just did basic math at Votech, and then I just did like a basic math class when I came back to high school. Like it was just like if you were Votech, they just kind of completely wash you out. They were just like we weren't allowed to take art. I was
allowed to do that.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to pick anything.
When I went through my whole Votech side of Monty area, I remember I think I had to take 4 or 5 like mandatory like one was math, one was reading, one was science, one was like history, maybe something else.
They forced us to take math, but they didn't.
And then I took like 2 or 3 electives. I remember one was definitely
we couldn't pick electives. It was sucked. But when I went to when I found out because I started talking to the lady who was part of like the administrative side where she would like give you your classes and everything like that.
Yeah.
I went to her, I was like, yo, can you check like where I'm at for like points when it comes to like, because you need so many math credits and so many credits for this and so many credits of that. She was like, your math credits are done. And I was like, how? And she's like, because it was like 10th grade year. So I guess so when I went to Votech in our 10th and 11th grade, going into my senior year, I was done math credits because I took math at home school and it was a full credit. And then the half I was at Votech was like a full credit or something like that.
Oh, were you at Votech when they were still doing math?
Yeah.
See, they stopped that like, I don't know how many years after you graduated because all the Votech kids were getting bad math scores on the PSSAs.
Really?
So they dropped math from Votech, said you have to go and get, now this is a slap in the face to math teachers at Votech. I mean, call a spade. But they took math away from Votech and they switched it to history.
History. So stupid. At least math is somewhat usable. I mean, history.
With Votech,
history. Yeah. I mean, but like, I remember they'd be like, "Oh, you're going to learn the science."
Think of all the different trades. What do basically all trades use? Math.
Yeah. You're like, oh, before you wire that wire, who won the war? And you're like,
that doesn't matter. Yeah, I haven't learned a damn thing about history since I graduated high school.
Yeah, I learned it all on Facebook, where everybody else gets their history lessons. Oh, what do we got here? Sorry.
So we have I forget the brewery name.
All right, so there you go.
It's Fair State Brewing Collective, and this is their Dream Universe number 755. It's a hazy IPA.
All right, hazy boys.
Refreshing. Weirdly.
I'm trying to guess what hop they use. I'm gonna say Citra and maybe
I'm not that deep
Simcoe. I'm not either, but just from having so many, I've kind of picked up stuff. Let's do my test here. Dream Universe 755. Or 755.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Dream.
I picked these up today at the Craft House in Minersville.
Okay.
Shout out Craft House. They
the one guy who's on our podcast works there.
They always have good beer there, man.
Did you ever go to Cake Stand in Monty City?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love them too.
Yeah, it's normally my spot when I'm going to my parents' house. I'll swing by there and grab a 4-pack or something.
Where are you living now?
I actually live in Frackville here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I live up in the what was it?
They don't say what house.
West Monoy. Wing of town up behind Jimmy O's up there.
Okay. Do they call it Monoy or Monoy?
I don't know.
Yeah, growing up in Monty City, it's like I live on Monoy Street, but I go to Mahanoy City.
Yo, you know what? I never realized that, but you're totally right.
Yeah, even changing stuff. Then we say the street differently.
Yeah.
That just blew your mind, right?
Yeah, you're so right. People say Monoy Street, but when you ask where you're from, it's Monoy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, you just totally destroyed my brain right there.
I didn't realize it until the littles came. And they're like, "What are you saying?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, Gavel lives on Monoy Street. I lived in the church on Monoy Street." And they're like, "The hell's Monoy?" I was like, "We're from Monoy City." He goes, "Then why don't you call it Mahanoy Street?" And I was like, and another thing they said to me too that kind of blew my mind when they first got to the school. They're like, "Why do you bring cupcakes on your own birthday?" You know how I
always thought that was weird too.
Like your mom has to make cupcakes to give to your friends on your birthday.
Yeah. I always thought that was weird too.
I don't think they do that.
I never brought it up.
Like allergy things and stuff.
Yeah. Everybody has a problem.
Yeah. But yeah, I never thought of that either. I was like, could you guys stop? You guys are from New York and you're fucking up my whole childhood. They're like, yo, shouldn't we be breathing you stuff on your birthday? I was like, stop asking questions. Just accept it.
That's how we do this here.
Yeah, that's what we do here in Mahanoy City.
Mahanoy.
Yeah, so my credits were all kind of messed up. And then my senior year, I was like, I'm not taking math. And they're like, why? I'm like, because I don't need to.
You don't have to, yeah.
And I was like, I'm just going to come here and sleep, or you're going to put me in a different class. And they put me in like a ninth grader class with like
Algebra 1.
Like, no, it was like geography or something. It was so stupid. And I was like, yeah, I'm definitely, there's another sleep period for
Definitely
me.
sleeping.
Yeah. So I did a lot of sleeping in school because it was the same classes all 4 years. And the teacher was like, yeah, as long as you don't come here and cause a disturbance, we'll give you a C. And I was like, because another thing they used to do too, I don't know if they still did it when you were there, is they would take all of like the really smart kids and put them in one class, and then like all the shitheads and stick them in another. I was always with the shitheads, so we never learned anything. It was
they somewhat started phasing that out when I was going through high school. Don't get me wrong, it was still mildly in effect.
Yeah,
but they somewhat kind of, the middle was definitely a lot more diverse.
I learned since middle school. I would just go home with my parents. I'm like,
middle school, they straight up had A class, B class, C class, and D class. And 7th grade, I was in D class because my mom working at school said, like, put him in D class, because the year before that I was in B class and I had too much fun and I got in a bunch of trouble in 6th grade. So she's like, oh, you want to be a little dick? Like, you're going to go in D class where you have no friends.
And then you made more friends.
Exactly. Back friends everywhere I go.
Yeah. Yeah, I was always in the class with like the troublesome kids. Like, it was like Sunday detention. There's like detention every day. Like, other kids who were going to get detention, they just stuck them all in one class. So like by 8th grade, I just came home with my mom, like, we don't get taught anything. Like, as long, like, they pretty much make deals with us to not disturb class and they'll just get us through. And she's like, what? I was like, yeah, it's a joke.
I never seen that. And like you were saying that about your VOTEC classes as well. Like, they didn't do that with us either. But because the class was so small, I will say that, like, we would only do, like, if it's a 40-minute period, we'd only do like 20 minutes of work. And then it was kind of like, all right, like, it's about all I got for you.
Yeah.
Because teachers, they don't put all that much emphasis on VOTEC classes when literally, like, my senior year, there was 3 of us.
Really?
It was me, Jake Moran, and Jenny Lenford. It was us 3.
And you're the only VOTEC kids?
Only kids in the class for math, reading. I had physics with Mr. Oh my God, I saw him the other day. Kazura.
Oh, really?
Kazura was there when you were there.
I believe so, yeah.
I'm pretty positive.
Yeah.
Little guy, super smart.
I didn't take him. I didn't have his class.
He definitely came off to a lot of people as a dick because he is like a physicist. He's a physics guy.
Yeah. Like, he was a physics class. He was across from...
He's the kind of guy, when you think about, like, physics, like...
Right? He was across from Fagley's class?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. So they did this experimental thing when I was a freshman, and as far as I know, they were still doing it when I left, and they may be still doing it now. I don't remember. I haven't asked my mom in a while, but since there was 4 science classes, we would get each one for 1 semester. Well, when I had Mr. Kazura as a freshman, like, we hated each other. Like, I was a little dickhead.
How did that work with your mom working in the office? Or like, yo, let's go talk to your mom. Were you like numb to it at that point? You're like, yeah, all right, I'll get in trouble. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. And I always knew that, like, it was probably gonna be worse. Like, I always knew, like, if I was like a real dick and they say, like, you're gonna get in trouble, I was like, this is gonna be really bad. There was never like a middle ground. It was either like, I'm not in trouble or I'm in a lot of trouble.
And then you had a thing, like, too, where...
I was supposed to get 3 days detention once, and my mom, like, found out about what I did, and she's like, no, give my ISS.
Yeah. ISS came later. North School had ISS, and then I came back to Monty area, and they're like, we might be doing this thing called IS. Oh, no, they start off with timeout. So you went and sat in timeout for a period, and you went and sat in, like, a broom closet. And then they're like, no, now we're doing full day in-school suspensions. I was like, all right. We had a Saturday detention. They were going to try to do Saturday detentions in middle school, the school on top of the hill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they tried that once.
Yeah, you were one of the last that went through there.
Yeah. You know, I think I would have been the last, but I left my 8th grade year to go to North Schuylkill. So I never got to, like, leave that school. I left in 7th grade. And then I came back halfway through 9th or 10th or something like that. I forget, it was something like that. I don't remember the track. But yeah, But yeah, they with the timeouts and stuff were a thing. But yeah, they like I said, some of the teachers would even pull aside to listen. Like we don't even know how to write a curriculum for you guys, so like they would just rewatch the curriculum we had before that. Miss Stone, she was just like, I feel bad for you guys because they just like
Miss Stone was always a homie. Shout out Miss Stone.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Dude, she was cool. Yeah, I had her.
Was there a monkey in the top corner of her chalkboard, like a scared monkey
Dude,
with
I
like
remember that stuff? I killed that brain cell 5 years ago.
Yeah, my brother said it was still there when he was there, and it was there. I put it there, and it was there. And I put like 100 of them on her board, and that one just somehow survived. And that was up there because we used to call Justin Walker Monkey because he looked like one. He had like big, huge ears, and he would shave his head. And he was part of our like.
Part of me is remembering that name, but not.
He had a little younger brother too, but we all called him. That was his nickname, was Monkey. I put one up there because we were in 2 different classes. So he came in, he like the whole one day is just filled with monkey pictures. He's like, you scumbag. Like she took them all down. And someone's like, just leave one, it's cute. And she left it up there. It was there for like 10 years.
She was easily the most like, I don't want to say gullible, but you could talk her into anything.
Yeah.
But she was cool about it in the same way. Like she almost knew she was getting talked into some dumb stuff. But
we talked
like,
some kid into pulling the handle with the shower thing. We had a kid pull one.
Really?
Yeah, that was funny.
That's
she didn't
bad
like,
news.
She didn't like that at all.
Yeah, that's a big no-no.
That room used to be Stravinsky's room before it was Stone's room.
Then he moved across the hall.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Well, the fun thing is he was in class one time. He'll probably deny it, but it's 100% happened. He went to pull the whiteboard down, like the roll down thing, and it snapped and swung and hit him in the face. What did you guys call him in school? Like, what was his nickname? Because they still called him when my brother went there, and I'm like, do you even know why the name is there?
Yeah, it's something to do with a football play that he screwed up when he was in high school.
Well, that, and there's another story that he was hitting on a student teacher when he was a teacher. Like she was like a younger student teacher. There's nothing like illegal, but and one of the older football players called him,
what was it?
Bobcat. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember somebody got like OSS for they somehow like so like when I was in high school, that's when we started getting like laptops. And
what?
So, yeah,
they would have never gave us laptops.
Dude, that was one sweet thing about being in Votech, like Votech classes when I was a senior during football season. Miss, I think it was Zakruski. I don't remember. She was a reading teacher, maybe. I remember her face and everything like that, but she was cool with me and we'd go along. So she had a cabinet of laptops and I had her first period or maybe second period. Didn't matter. But I would always get a laptop off her. And then our defensive coordinator, Mr. Babinski, I think he's the head coach now.
Really?
I think so. But he's a computer guy in the school. So he would give me like an old school like CD case and I would put 5 different CDs of the team that we were going to play that week. And I would watch film on the laptop all day.
What position did you play?
When I was a senior, I was middle linebacker. Well, I was strong side linebacker and guard.
And your sister was a basketball player, right?
No. Volleyball.
That's what volleyball and cheerleading.
Volleyball and cheerleading.
Yeah. Your brother did not. He didn't.
He was the theater arts guy.
The athletic bug did not bite him. I remember he was not. He was theater. I was gonna say band, but I knew it was something with like
theater arts.
Theater. Definitely a theater kid.
You got to remember the variety show with Bohemian Rhapsody.
I don't remember that. All I remember is all of our variety shows.
If anybody is watching this
really
and somehow like your parents have a like an old school camcorder video of that,
Sing Queen.
Yeah, dude. Everybody that I ever bring this up to that remembers it was like that was the shit because it was.
I don't remember it.
Dude, like I remember Miss Sheila got like black lights and they like the song would start and like when like the riff would hit. They dropped all the lights. And they turned the black lights on, and everybody was wearing black, so you couldn't see them. But they had like white masks, and it was wild.
I do remember we always had a really killer theater program. Like
Yeah.
even when they're like, "Hey, we're gonna do like half the day. We're gonna come down and we're gonna show everyone the play, and then you can come at like over the weekend."
You would watch half of it, and then you can come over the weekend and watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I do remember we always had killer really plays.
Absolutely.
I there was not one I did. I was like, oh, that sucked. Like I thought it was pretty cool. I thought they did a good job.
They always did a great job, but
I wish I would have participated more, like into stuff like that, instead of being like the angsty, like, oh, I hate to get out of here. I can't wait to leave type deal.
So did I, but like it goes back to the whole like deal with you quitting football.
Yeah,
because your last name was Blackwell.
Yeah.
and they didn't want you to be a kicker.
Yeah,
I don't
my
remember
last name.
if we talked about this on or off.
It was off camera, but yeah, I didn't have the right last name to be the starting kicker of the football team.
So
Somehow.
my brother went through, and he was like
With
his
theater.
senior year, he was a lead guy, and I did 7th to 8th grade theater, and I was pretty good. But then when we got into high school, like there was like a ranking system where like you had to be like a dancer first, and then you can do this, and then you could do that. Where if you had the right name, you could jump that.
You could bypass all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it had, like you said, had nothing to do with skill. It was just this is who they like.
Yeah.
So this is where they put. Versus I'm sitting behind saying like they suck.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm a way better.
And I was too much into the punk rock, emo, and hip hop. So I was anti-establishment.
Yeah. So as soon as I got a feeling of that, and I was like, well, there's like with football, I knew I could show up to practice and smash heads, and I'm undeniable.
Yeah, I thought that too. I was like, oh, cool, I'm hitting 4-yard field goals.
I always, well, with field goals, it's a little different. That's politicking. But like with the defense, like I played defense sophomore, junior year, didn't really play any offense, but I played defense because I would show up to practice every day and I would just go 110%. I wasn't that good at anything.
Yeah,
but
I
would
really enjoyed playing safety. I loved safety. So here's where I struggled in football. I didn't put a helmet on until 11th grade year. I never played football my whole life. Just backyard football. Yeah. I was always really fast. I always could run my ass off, and I always had heart. But as soon as I put a helmet on me, I
changed everything.
I couldn't see.
Yeah.
I was kind of like Mark Wahlberg in Invincible. So when they brought me in, then they gave me all these pads, and I was like, what can I get away with not wearing? And they're like, what do you mean? I was like, I can't wear all this. And they're like, you have to. And I was like, I didn't wear a butt pad. I never wore a cup. I never wore thigh pads. I don't think I wore. I don't
not
think
wearing a cup against me. Terrible mistake.
Really?
First play of the game, every game when I played on the D line.
Headbutt right to the balls.
Fist.
Really?
Every play after that, who's backing up?
Yeah. Oh, okay. I like that strategy. The only thing I think I wore was, I think I got caught in a game because I had no leg pads on. I had nothing. I didn't wear any pads on my legs. And then I think a referee one time.
You were before they had like the girdles that had like the built-in ones.
Yeah, I mean, we had the one. There were the girdles, and then you slid them in.
You slid them in. That's what I'm saying. Like now, like when I was in high school, they Under Armour and different brands.
Oh, they were built into the shorts.
Yeah, like it was like
that would
sewn
be horrible.
in.
That'd be horrible.
No, it was actually a lot better because it wasn't like the big, thick pad that you're thinking of.
And it would slide all over the place.
Exactly.
So like your thigh pad would be on the back of your leg.
No, like your girdle had them sewn in, and instead of being a big pad, it was like, I don't know, like 30 or 40 little pads like that.
Yeah.
But in the shape, because it would like, so it would bend
probably
real nice and all that stuff.
It'd probably be a little.
It's what everyone wears.
I think I wore the hip pads, because I think that was the most visible one, like a ref would see, because it kind of hung out at the top.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't wear any pads, and then I got the smallest shoulder pads I could find, and I put those on, and then I can kick and move better. But I remember I played one practice, and they're like, "Oh, we need someone just for the practice squad to play safety," and I was like, "I'll do it," and they're like, "No." I was like, "I could do it." And for me, growing up playing soccer, you have to learn how to take an angle to a play, or you have to be there before the ball gets there, because you don't want to overexert yourself when it comes to running and wearing yourself out. So when I would watch the quarterback, I'm like, oh, like before the play started, even when I played basketball, like I played street ball, I analyze everything. I was always looking at like, oh, he's probably gonna go here. If I give a little bit of a cushion here, he's probably gonna look for this pass, and I'm gonna jump it. So I was really good at that as a safety. I'd be like, I'd lay off, and I knew I can make up that distance by taking an angle.
Yeah, angles are everything in football.
Quarterback would drop back, and I think the one practice had like 4 interceptions, and I took all of them back to the house. And to the house was as far as I kept running until they blew the whistle, because I was being chased by like Johnny Camber and Jesse and Tyler Smith, who were all going to kill you if they tackled you.
God, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah,
that age. God love your soul.
Dude, we had a monster team. There's no excuse why my junior year, when they were all seniors, we shouldn't have been a state championship team, because they were all
monsters.
They were beasts. I remember we went in my junior year, and we played like some school with an X in their name. I don't remember, like Pius X or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were supposedly gonna be like the state championship team.
They're always really good.
And we smashed them at a scrimmage.
Really?
Like, smashed them. And then halfway through the season, our coaching staff strategy was like, hey, you want to be a starting middle linebacker? So does he. That's your competition. Take him out. And then halfway through the year, everyone hated each other. Like, it was a stupid idea. I hated it. I didn't like there was some really, really good coaches on this team, and then there was some really, really terrible coaches on that team. And I think the terrible coaches outweighed the good coaches. Yeah.
That's a bummer.
I don't want to say the wrong name. There's the Lawrence brothers, the quarterback coach.
Yeah.
Good coach.
Yeah, the Lawrences are great guys.
Yeah.
He's I as far as I know, I think he's still a wrestling coach.
The other brother. The more jacked one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One's Mark and one's
I think Mark's not skinnier, but smaller of the two. And the other one still kind of works out. He's kind of bald. Wears glasses.
Yeah, he's always been a powerlifter. He's the wrestling. No, that's Mark. The other one. God, I feel terrible.
I liked it. Well, if not the wrestling coach, the other one I liked him better more.
He's definitely more laid back.
Yeah.
I know him. I know his. You probably know his son. He has an older son that's around your age. I know his daughter was a freshman when I was a senior.
The wrestling coach, me and him didn't get along.
He's very.
One day I was standing there and they didn't have anything for me, so I was just kind of standing there. He's like, "Get a pad." And I was like, "No." He's like, "Get a pad."
He doesn't like that attitude.
And I was like, "I can't." He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "I have a no hit clause. Like I can't hit or be hit because of my thing. Because this is when I got diagnosed with my disorder."
All right.
And he's like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "You're well aware of this. Did you see me walk off the field? I was touching my kneecap and I wasn't even hunched over." And he's like, "I told you to get a pad." And I'm like, "I'm telling you, I'm not." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, I'm not going to stand here and be your hit buddy for the whole thing. Like, I'm here to be a kicker. I shouldn't even fucking be here. Like,
yeah, really, you don't need to be there.
Yeah.
You don't need to be at regular practice.
And he was like, "Get a pad." And I went out and took a pad. And then him or somebody did one of those things where he was like, he went over and whispered to the kid, and the kid came over and like tried to lay me out. And as soon as I seen him coming, and I sidestepped and dropped the pad. And I was like, "Nope, that's it. You had your chance." Like, you know what I mean? And then he was like, me and him kind of got into an argument, and I was just like, "You can say whatever you want, man. Like, you're not my dad," type deal. Like, yeah, I was kind of an asshole back, but I also wasn't going to get out there and get purposely hurt because at that point in time, I knew that my position was in jeopardy because of the last name deal, and you weren't going to go out there and hurt me the week before a game, so I couldn't participate. And I kind of felt like that because even when we came up to our first game of the year, all of my reps went with like a holder who didn't hold and a snapper who didn't snap.
Yeah, you felt it coming.
And I was just like, "Oh, so you're trying to do this to me?" Like, I'm like, "Why am I not?" Like, they're like, "Oh,
why not on first team?"
Yeah, they're like, "Go warm up, go punt." I was like, "I haven't punted all year. Why am I warming up punting?"
Punting now.
And they're like, "What do you mean?" I was like, I'm a place kicker." And they're like, "Oh," and then I'm like, "Oh, we'll do place kicking." And it was after that other player got done his warm ups, and they brought me over, and the kid couldn't hold the ball, and I was like. And I looked at one of the coaches. I said, "If you're going to take my spot, at least make the person earn it." I said, "Give us first string, like give me the actual holder, give me an actual player thing." And we were doing it like kick for kick, and it was like 20, 30, 40. And we got to like 45, and I made it, and the other person didn't come close. And I was like, "I'm good for another 5, back it up." And they're like, "All right, everyone in the locker room." And like they didn't want anyone else to. I was like, "All right, so you're going to take my spot." And that's when the football game happened, when I was just like, "Yeah, I'm out of here." And I just left. Like 5 kids quit that year. Mike Cadu quit that year, and then they brought him back because he was really, really talented.
Yeah. Didn't he win state at hurdles or something like that?
I suck at check, but he broke his dad's state record. Like it was like running like a half a mile or whatever, like 400 or whatever the hell it is. Okay. He has like the record time for that.
I think 400 lap is 1 lap.
Oh, and then whatever he had.
Laps.
Yeah, he crushed it. I don't know. He broke the last person who had that record was his dad in Shenandoah, and he broke his dad's state record.
Damn.
At states. He crushed it. He got a fire truck parade and everything.
Yeah, I remember all that. That's what I was saying. I remember he won state track something, but I don't remember what.
And it's funny because like he had like that long hair like Jesus, and then he's bald.
Is he?
Yeah, he doesn't have any hair.
Bummer.
He lost all of his hair. He had really nice hair.
You are an anomaly. I don't remember if we were on or off air before when we were talking about your beard, but most people that I know that have a beard have no head hair.
Really?
They have a great beard, but no hair on their head.
My dad and my uncle are both like, I can't say my dad's bald because he gets sensitive with it. Like my uncle's definitely bald. And my dad's like, he's hanging on. He's hanging on for dear life.
If my hairline ever starts going, like I'm over. Like, I'm just
shaving it.
I don't care.
And I keep growing it long, and they're like,
but I'm the opposite. Like I can't grow facial hair at all.
I think Austin has a hard time with facial hair.
But I have flowing hair on top of my head.
Yeah.
I got that from my grandmother.
Yeah, they say it's your mom's side.
I think my grandmother is 79, and she has hair like mine.
Billy had hair like yours too.
Still does.
Yeah, I always remember Billy had like that nice little swoop thing going on. I was like, the guy's a stud.
Hey, if you got it, rock it, bro.
Yeah, get it. So that was kind of the thing with the politics with Monty area, a little bit with the sports side. Yeah. But like I said, it carried over to theater. But even though I don't want to sit here and think I'm like saying I'm bad mouth, because I'm very proud that I went to Monty area. Like I said, I think I wish I would have participated more in activities. I
Going to
I missed out a
Monterey
lot.
made me who I am.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Coming from a small school, like I work with guys that like I do a lot of work down in like the Reading and Allentown areas.
Mhm.
And like I tell guys like I may be wrong. Somebody you can fact check me or whatever. I don't remember. But for some reason I remember our graduating class was like somewhere in the neighborhood of 70.
Yeah.
I tell people from like Reading or Allentown that and they're like they don't like, it doesn't make sense.
If you live in our town, you know pretty much almost everyone you
you know
graduated
the
with.
entire school.
You know
Every
generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know everybody. Everybody
Like,
knows everybody.
For us, example, you're 2 generations behind me, but I still know you from your
Yeah.
brother, then your sister.
Mhm.
How was that growing up for you, being the youngest, going into a school where your 2 siblings already went through, and well, you have a little bit even different. Your mom working
It's
there.
story of my life. You gotta live up to expectations.
Yeah.
It's
I didn't set a very high bar for Austin.
yeah.
But
Paige and Billy. I mean, they did good with what they did with, and I like to think I did good with what I did good
Yeah,
with as well.
absolutely.
But like I said, it's story of my life. Like expectations are set, and I get that in my mind that like, all right, this is what you have to live up to. If this is what I have to live up to, I'm gonna smash through that and make you rethink my last name completely.
Mhm.
Because that's another thing with my last name. Like anybody from the area that knows a couple of my uncles, we have kind of a bad side of my family that I don't like talking about, but
I don't know any of the bad.
that's a good
side.
thing. We're not
Yeah.
gonna go into it.
I don't think I've ever heard a
There's-
negative connotation about your last name.
I think that's because you only really know like me, my brother and sister, and like
Yeah.
my mom, like
Mhm.
my direct family. Like you probably know my cousin Mike.
Mike.
He was probably like a freshman when you were a senior.
Last name Pecika?
Yeah, he was in Small Engines actually.
Maybe.
But
Oh, wait.
he wrestled in
Firehouse?
No.
No. What the fuck? Oh, that's a completely different name.
No,
There's a P though. Petrie.
We
Yeah,
were
not even close.
We were the dirt bike guys.
Okay.
But
yeah, I might know him to see him.
You know
Some people I am pretty terrible with names and faces, and I've met a lot of people over my years.
But I've also, or I shouldn't say also, I've always had that stigma in my own brain.
Mhm.
Maybe no one like you don't even know about it.
Yeah.
But like I always have that in the back of my head that like I have in my brain. I always tell myself that like I have to surpass expectations.
Yeah.
I'm always
Well, I mean, you
hyper-focused on
you
being
could
better. I want to meet someone and like I want them to think like one thing of me. Like you can see me in like white boy, little bro,
Yeah.
like Chad, Brad kind of guy, like whatever. But whatever you think of me, I'm going to blow that expectation through the
Mhm.
glass, break the glass. What do you want to say?
And you can also be attributed to like, oh, because your mom works there, you're going to get special privileges too.
It was
And
the opposite.
And you were like, no, she made it harder for me. 'Cause
Absolutely.
She didn't want me to have that. And then you went out and put a work ethic in that said, no, I deserve everything I get, which
Absolutely.
is cool, which is a reason why I always gave you that respect and that love.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I knew more of you from playing basketball. And I know there's a rewash story, and you're probably going to hear it on the next podcast of the same rewash because behind the curtain, I'm actually filming 2 podcasts today. So after you leave, I'm recording another one
With
Tyler Bernardin. Yeah.
he's in town.
He's in town. He's coming.
Okay, no one probably knows this, but I know he's in Michigan. He's
Yeah.
going to school in Michigan.
Mhm. He comes.
He is such a sly little cat. Like
Yeah.
he won't say anything to anybody, but he'll just like show up.
Yep. Yeah. He's the
Childhood friend.
Yeah. Good kid. I've always been a fan of him.
Incredible guy.
He's coming a little later on today, and then we're gonna air that one next week. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yep. So I have 2 back to back. Well, technically it'd be 3. I had 3 Monty area boys in the past couple months.
Yeah.
You met, and another kid that wants to do an interview, Dallas he's like a kid in town now. He's like a rapper. He's from a different generation, so I don't really know much about him. So I'm going to learn. But another Monty area kid's going to be on the podcast soon.
Cool.
Getting a lot of Monty area love. Hopefully I can get my bucket list interview done too. I didn't do it because of COVID hit, but supposedly he's told my mom he's interested. I want to interview Mick. I'm going to do Mick Holland.
That would be epic.
That's like when I started doing this 3 years ago. Everyone's like, "Who's your bucket list?" And I was like, "He's number
Mickey.
1." Yeah, because
For
I
sure.
just really
Dude, he's the guy that gave me who like originally started I can't get my words right. I'm sorry. He's the one that originally started teaching me about bodybuilding
really
at Unique Physique.
okay.
You know, but that used to be the gym where McNiff's is now. McNiff's used to be a gym.
You're right. Yep. Yeah.
That's where I started lifting there, and he lifted there, and I lifted with him a couple times. I didn't play basketball, and he was cool with that. He was
Yeah.
like, hey, I have to play basketball. Talk to me. Like, he's always been a good guy.
Yeah.
And he's actually the first guy that got me. I would say my father originally got me into bodybuilding, and that was more of like a pro wrestling thing.
Yeah. I do remember Bill was always he liked pro wrestling as a kid too.
Bro, we're so deep.
Yeah.
I
think that's where our common ground
Let's get
was.
into the pro wrestling.
Yeah, I think that's where
me and Billy were really, really, really deep until I was in 6th grade, I want to say.
Yeah.
I started getting out of it. It was like, I want to say like 2002, like right when like WWE started going off the rails and it got bad again.
Yeah.
And then I didn't watch it all the way up until, I want to say, either 2016 or 17.
It's about when I got back in.
My brother showed me, I went to his house. He was living in Tamaqua at the time. He's like, I know you haven't watched wrestling in a long time, but I've like, he always had his finger on the pulse.
Mhm.
Like he always like, he watched like the beginnings of Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Like he's always been in it. He never got out, but he was like, listen, I remember we watched this when we were younger. Like, you got to watch this. It's the craziest match I've ever seen in my life. He showed me Okada Omega
Well, that was
at
New
the
Japan.
Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, that was a New Japan match.
New Japan,
Yeah.
Wrestle Kingdom. I think it might have been 13.
They wrestled
or
what, 3
14.
times?
4 total.
4.
They did that. Then they did a. I don't remember if it was Dominion G1 and then Dominion the next year. They did Wrestle Kingdom, a match, the G1 match,
Mhm.
and then they did Dominion, which was the 2 out of 3 falls match that went 70+ minutes.
Yeah. Insane.
But he got me back into it after the first match. I want to say it was like,
So you fell back in love with wrestling with New Japan.
Because of New Japan.
Yeah.
Because of that match. He showed me that and I was like so mind blown of like, this is like what I always wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And then it was. So I was like, I need more of this.
Who was your favorites growing up WWE wise?
Stone Cold.
You were a Stone Cold kid.
I'm from Monty City. Or drinking beer, bald, or smashing people in the head.
I always tell people that's where Austin was name was from. But it's not. It was from a Days of Our Lives character. But there was a character in Days of Our Lives that was popular named Austin. And at the time, Stone Cold was pretty popular. And my mom was like, what do you want to name your brother? And I was like, Austin. And they're like, oh, my mom's like, I like that. It's from Days of Our Lives. But yeah, stupid, right? I was into it. I remember we're in the middle school auditorium. And I forget how or why, but me and your brother were kind of, even though we were a small class, everyone kind of stayed to themselves a little bit. But we were like kind of sitting by each other, and I forget what happened or what sparked it. I don't know if he had like a toy or if his shirt or he had something wrestling related on him.
It was probably a shirt
or like a binder or a pencil.
We
or
also we had all the figurines.
Yes.
But if I had to guess, he did have a lot of shirts.
Yeah. And I remember I was like, you like pro wrestling? He's like, yeah. And that's kind of where we had a little bit of our common ground, because the kid who got me into wrestling, his name was also Billy.
Oh, really?
Billy Quick got me into wrestling growing up. And then we kind of had our ground there. But like, it's weird because I named our one show Not Cool in high school, because everything that I was into growing up, like comic books and wrestling and video games, like if you didn't tell people at school you were into that, like that was not a cool thing to go talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Even though everyone played video games, everyone liked comic books, everyone was into like pop culture stuff, but you was like, unless you were like, for us, it was like, if you weren't in sports, you weren't shit, at least in the crowd I was in.
That's most of the stigma in my area.
Yeah. But it's funny because like all the kids who were like would shit on it, they'd be like, yo, you gonna come over and watch wrestling tonight? I'm like, yeah, you just fucking made fun of me at school for that shit. They're like, yeah, but don't say nothing. I said, all right, whatever. But yeah, I was always super into it. I took a huge break when MMA. I found MMA early, before many people knew about it in our area. I seen the Tito Ken Shamrock match, and that's where I fell in love. Like UFC 46.
That was another thing with my brother. Like, so because of being into wrestling, like he knew about Ken Shamrock.
Mm-hmm.
So like we always kind of had like a toe in there.
Yeah.
And yeah, MMA.
And I remember telling people at school, I was like, yo, because I think we were just about to graduate in 2005. and I was like, yo, UFC is coming to, like, it's going to be televised. And I was like, what the hell is, I'm like, it's going to be the next big thing.
Wilkes-Barre.
And when the Ultimate Fighter
when the
2005
was on, yeah.
season finale, and I remember people were like, that's so cool. And I was like, and at that point, I've already been watching it. Like, I was getting pay-per-views and stuff. We were having like pay-per-view parties, and then it just blew up, and I became super engulfed in mixed martial arts, and I stopped watching pro wrestling. And then
that's probably going to be the first thing after my wife is 37 weeks pregnant. So after she has the kid and like everything, we're having a boy.
Nice.
And we're gonna name him after my grandfather. His name's gonna be Elam, and then first name Elam, middle name is gonna be Joseph. Joseph after her father, and he'll be known as EJ.
Nice.
But after we have him, and everything kind of shakes out, and hopefully everything opens up, that is the first show she wants to go to.
What?
She wants to go see a UFC show.
Really?
She loves UFC. Pro wrestling,
I went to a live UFC. It was so fucking terrible.
Really?
Yeah, you watch it from it. You're literally watching from the screen.
Oh no, I don't. No, we're going. When I get tickets, we get good tickets.
Oh,
I don't.
yeah.
I don't play because I've gotten bad tickets, and I had that like I'm just watching TV in Jersey. Like, this is dumb.
I went to the Prudential Center. That's exactly where I went, and where the Devils play.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is hard. And then I hated MMA fans after it. Like, they're like, oh, this is boring. Why are they on the ground? I'm like, I'm like, dude,
are you an idiot?
Like, you're 400 pounds. You can't even do a push-up. Don't even talk.
Don't get me started on that.
Yeah, I hated it. So I went to one live experience, and I'll never do it again.
Ignorant people make me want to just lose it.
But I came back when everyone's like, you got to see this guy CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, and I was like, all right, cool. I missed that. And I watched the Royal Rumble where Batista came back and won, and it was the last Royal Rumble that CM Punk and Daniel Bryan wrestled in, and then they both were gone, and then Daniel Bryan ended up coming back. But that was so like the guys that I was told to watch the wrestling product for are now gone.
Right when you got into it.
So then I had to like find all these new people, and then I fell in love with WWE again, and then I started looking, and then AEW started sparking up, and then we're like, oh well, let's start a podcast talking about wrestling. Then we dove into the local independent scene. And it's just, I've been hooked ever since. I'm more hooked on the independent wrestling than anything.
Me and my brother actually went to the first ever taping of AEW down in DC.
Really?
And then they went, where'd they go to week 2?
Philly? Like by Temple?
They went to the Temple week 3. We went to that too.
Yeah.
We got the best tickets we could get. We were hard cam. There's actually there's one commercial that, they show every now and then, like, you know how like they do a commercial for a show like Dynamite on Wednesday nights, and it's like a clip of this, and then like for 3 seconds, and a clip of this, and a clip of that, and a clip of that, and it's just a bunch of clips like all together with music behind it. One of the clips in the first episode where Omega is about to do the Terminator, where he goes down on one knee and and then Moxley comes behind him, like all tuned out. You see me up behind him, and I have a green Pilgaroo, shout out Budwashers.
Oh, yeah.
I have a green Pilgaroo shirt on. I'm like, oh, it's happening. So we were there for that. And then, then week 2, I can't remember who they were.
One of the owners of Pilgaroo just won the television championship in ROH.
Yeah. Shout out Tony Deppen.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I can't wait for that place to open.
I'm actually doing their electrical work for them.
Really?
So I just hooked up their brew house Thursday.
All their tanks and stuff.
Yeah, I hooked up to brew house Thursday, and now they have to. I'm sorry.
That's right.
They have to decide where they want to have their glycol chiller, and then I'm gonna hook that up so then they can be.
Sweet. So you're instrumental in getting me my beer quicker.
I hope, man. My wife wasn't so damn pregnant.
Yeah,
a different story, but. You know.
So right now, who would you say is some of your favorites to watch?
I mean, Omega for sure. I mean, I always because of. I mean, I know everyone says like he's the best in the world and whatnot, and I would agree with that.
Sure, there's no argument.
I know. I also understand that has a lot to do with like my brother getting me back into it, and that was the match that did it. Him and Okada, and then me just following him ever since. And yeah, he's. The man.
Do you watch everything, or you just exclusive
I watch
to a company? So you watched.
I don't watch WWE weekly.
Okay.
I only watch their pay-per-views.
Do you watch NXT?
No.
I love NXT.
I gave up on it. I gave up on WWE because more or less they gave me like the little bitty glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
And then it said like
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. They're like, oh,
so many times that I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But I'll watch the pay-per-views just because it's like Sunday night, like whatever.
Yeah, I follow the NXT more than I stopped watching main roster stuff, which sucks because one of my favorite guys in wrestling right now is on it. I like Kevin Owens a lot. I'm a huge
Kevin Owens is
fan.
awesome.
I love
Kevin
Sami
Owens.
Zayn.
He's really good too.
Yeah, I'm a huge Adam Cole fan. Adam Cole's from this area.
He's from Lancaster.
Yeah, he used to wrestle in Lancaster a lot. Well, he's from
Lancaster.
Yeah, Matt Riddle wrestled a lot with him in Lancaster too.
Yeah, Palmerton.
Yeah.
He used to do jiu-jitsu with a guy that I worked with.
Oh yeah, yeah. He actually. I remember. I was a fan of him before he was even in professional wrestling.
He was a UFC guy.
I watched him fight GSP.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I was like, oh, this Pennsylvania kid's fighting GSP.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I lean more into the independent and the AEW scene. I just like what AEW is doing, and I like the fact that like because I've become so engulfed with the independent scene, like watching someone develop a character and make that character and make that gimmick, and they're allowed to continue it and learning and building and growing off it. And then they get to like WWE and that's all stripped from them. Like you did so good to get signed for them to take away your identity. And then now you're this garbage character that's never going to get over. And then they go back to independence and everyone's like, oh my God, this person's so good. I'm like, because they're allowed to be them. So I like that AEW is like, we like you for your character. We want you to bring your character.
That's what you want you to do.
Like, I know he's a huge gimmick and people are like, oh, he's stupid. But if you actually watch him wrestle, he's fucking amazing.
Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, Orange Cassidy. I love Orange Cassidy.
He was one of the ant guys in Chikara.
I'm not talking about that. It's top secret information. No, it's a joke. Yeah, every time we say it on the podcast.
Well, the freaking company got shut down, so like it's over now.
Unfortunately. Oh, that's actually I've been actually working with a lot of their talent. That's that's with the Camp Leapfrog. A lot of those guys are from Chikara. The guy who's on my podcast was originally trained in Chikara, Andy Header.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he actually was trained. He was there the same time Cesaro was there.
Oh really?
Uh huh.
That's wild.
Yeah, Cesaro and Gulak were there at the same time.
Gulak's awesome too.
Gulak, I believe Gulak used to play an Ant at some point in time as well.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. I only know Orange Cassidy was an Ant because
I
follow Orange Cassidy.
I love Best Friends. That's my favorite stable right now. And then they added Chris Statlander.
That's one of my wife's. Like I said before, she wants to go see a UFC.
Yeah.
But like when we do watch AEW, that's one of her favorite intros.
Best Friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Best Friends.
I love Best Friends. I like Best Friends. I'm a huge Chris Statlander fan. Thunder Rosa. Yeah. One of the my really good, like I became really good friends with them. They're called the Main Event.
Spoiler alert! I'm really glad Britt Baker is going to win the title.
Yeah.
On May 30th, it's going to happen.
Yeah, Britt Baker's
dude. She's too good.
She's awesome. But Thunder Rosa is it's fucking.
Oh, absolutely.
Too. I'm kind of over Sheeta's run.
Yeah, it's ran its course.
Yeah.
It's time for Britt's character is so good right now that like. That's
because she learns from her boyfriend.
That's it. Dude, he's so good too. You can't hate it. Can't hate greatness. Yeah. I take greatness and I tip my cap to it every time. Like, that's why I love Omega. I love Britt. All
Do you think we're getting Omega Orange Cassidy?
I mean, from this past Wednesday's episode, you would assume that, but you know what you do and you know what happens when you assume.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Pac Omega again.
I don't want that.
Why?
I don't want it. We've already had it.
But it's incredible.
I want Hangman Omega. I want
that's not happening for a while.
I want Cassidy Omega.
You know it's not happening for a while.
Or I want this is my dream matchup because now he has the Impact title, and I know they're doing a whole #1 contender over there. But there's a guy who wrestled locally for a long time around here that I'm a huge fan of. That's an Impact. Ace Austin.
Ace Austin. He's from Jersey, isn't he?
He wrestled a lot in Pennsylvania. Like he used to wrestle.
Yeah, he wrestled a lot in
he's in Ohio now. He lives in Ohio, but he travels all over. But he wrestled a lot in our area.
I just listened to his podcast he did with Chris Van Vliet, and he still works at Hot Topic.
Yeah,
but he still works he might be there today.
Yeah, he works at one in Ohio. Yeah,
but he was like just the X Division champion. Like what?
Yeah, I seen him wrestle.
He's like I like it because I get discounts. Like
cool. He blew up from a spot in Pennsylvania. He jumped off a backboard. Like he jumped from the backboard to the ring, and blew up. And the guy who was wrestling with, I'm pretty decent friends with, and that's kind of what exploded him.
Shout out to this. We're drinking 10 Ben's beer, Northern Lights. It's a New England style double IPA. I think it's way better than the Dream Universe. Personally,
I like the Dream just because it has a hazy taste, but this is good too.
I think this has a better taste. I don't know.
Yeah, I like the hoppy.
first
The
sip, I
hoppy
hit it,
tastes
like,
more
damn.
from the Dream, but the Northern. This is also very good. But yeah, the I don't know. Well, I mean, you talked to the Bud Washes. Supposedly, a referee is going to be making a beer. An AEW referee is going to be making a beer soon with them.
I would. Oh, is it Bryce?
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw Bryce. I don't know if it was
Instagram.
I don't know if it was Conlon. Like sent me a screenshot or something like that. But yeah, like Deppen sent him a Pilgaroo shirt.
He was wearing the
Bryce-
Kickstarter.
No, I just saw the shirt that Bryce.
Okay, it was
This
a
was a
t-shirt.
longer time
It was a
ago.
Kickstarter with the mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you kickstarted their first campaign, you got the NWO glass, the shirt, and a hoodie if you got the one package, and he got the t-shirt. And he was wearing it on Instagram.
Yeah.
I was like, I fucking love Bryce.
That's
I actually,
dope.
when he did that, I went and ordered like just a couple weeks because he did. I was like, oh, I already like Bryce. I'm already a huge Audrey fan. And I want like I don't really own any referees except Chris that I've been working with Camp Leafrog, but I went and ordered a Bright because I was like, oh, if he's supporting fucking the Bud Washes and
Yeah, you got
I want his shirt, and
absolutely.
it's funny because his shirt is a Flyers ripoff, and I'm not a Philadelphia
really?
sports fan team at all.
Me neither.
It says the Bryce is right, but it's like blue and red to like the Phillies, not the Flyers, Phillies.
Yeah.
And I was, people are gonna see it and think I'm thinking wearing.
I've always
Harper.
Kind of been a Pittsburgh fan, and then my older sister Paige moved out there, and it was like, all right,
Pittsburgh's a fun city.
I feel like Pittsburgh is if you took Schuylkill County and like all the different towns,
just smash them together. Yeah, I would agree with that. It's a good beer town.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's a great town. Period. Literally everything there is 10 out of 10. I every time we go out there to visit, love it.
Yeah. I would agree. I went there once and I had a really good time. I didn't get the chance to explore the breweries as much as I wanted to because Heidi's not a drinker, but I definitely want to go back out there for that because they have a lot of good breweries. But yeah, I'm a big fan of all the wrestling scene. Is there anything like super coming up that you're really excited about?
I mean, I'm really focused on AEW. It's pretty much the only thing I watch like on television outside of like YouTube videos here and there. I'm really busy. I always keep myself busy.
Yeah.
I don't do very well with sitting.
Yeah, I'm the same way. But my busiest is what we're doing right now.
So this is busy for me though. Like we had this plan for how long. Like I had this on my calendar. Like I went out today and I bought beers for this. Like,
I know. I really appreciate that. That's awesome.
Listen, I come correct with everything.
You're like, should I bring anything? I was like, no, you should be fine. You brought beers. It's a way. It's a good way to my heart in the podcast world.
Low key. I had this plan for a long time, like I said. But everything that I do, I have to keep myself busy because I don't know if I have ADD or I've never been like diagnosed or anything like that, but like I can't sit still.
I was diagnosed, but then I refused to take the pills.
But I love AEW, but I love that it's on a Wednesday because it's like my midweek. Like my wife like says like, all right, when you come home, like do whatever you got to do, but then like the couch is yours, the TV's yours. Like sit down, take your break, watch your show. Because like Monday. Like I should say Thursday through Tuesday, I'm doing something constantly. Like today, woke up, went to the gym, came home, showered, ate, grocery shop, come home from that, put all the groceries away, take the dog for a walk, come back, put these beers in this cooler. Now I'm here. When I leave here,
you're an animal.
When I leave here, I gotta go take my mother for dinner for Mother's Day because tomorrow.
Where are you taking them?
Nutty Pear in Schuylkill Haven.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have never been there.
Never disappointed me.
Really?
It's a weird spot. Not like I don't want that to sound wrong. Like it's not a weird spot as in it's a weird place, but like you wouldn't find it unless you like GPS'd it. Yeah. So like the way I go there is you go down 61, you go through Schuylkill Haven, and then like once you pass McDonald's heading south on 61, like somewhere just past McDonald's there's a road you turn right, and then you're going a couple back roads, and it's back there, and it's like this old like I don't know 1850s house.
Really?
That they turn into a restaurant. It's like a cabin kind of.
I've never even heard of this place,
dude. You wouldn't find it if you tried.
How did you find it?
I don't know.
Facebook?
My wife did on the internet somehow.
Shit.
We've been there a couple times, but just to finish my little spiel here, like take my mother and grandmother out for Mother's Day because tomorrow I have to go to the Amazon warehouse in Hazleton and shut the entire place down and completely reconfigure their main electrical panel.
Really?
The main power coming in, we have to basically replace 90% of their breakers and switch everything around because we're doing.
Are they shutting the factory down for the day?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
we have a 12-hour shutdown.
So you're the reason I'm probably not getting my package until Tuesday.
Listen, sucks to suck. Buy local. Stop buying off Amazon. You don't have to worry about it.
Where else are you gonna get dildos? No joke.
Oh,
It's a joke. It's a joke.
maybe it's not. Sorry. But
yeah.
but yeah, I'm all gas,
yeah.
and that's why I hope I'm sure she'll, if she's not watching now, she'll watch later. Aaron, I love you. You're my everything, and she is the perfect human for me because she is my opposite.
She's more chill, relaxed.
I am. Don't worry about it. We'll get it done. Just go get it done. Work. Let's go. We'll get it done. Just keep going. She's calm down. Take a seat. She worries about everything. Everything.
My wife worries and has the work ethic, and I'm more like, it'll get done when it gets done.
Yeah, I'm like, we got to do this yesterday.
Yeah,
and we can't
You
sit.
see my grass on the yard right now. It looks like fucking welcome to the jungle out there.
Mine gets that way too. I just don't care about grass though. That's the problem.
I'm terrible at house chores.
Like, I'm sure your yard doesn't look much different than mine because we both live in the same town. Like everything's kind of similar.
Yeah.
I've lived in a half a double just like this is.
How do you like Fractal so far?
It's great.
Yeah, it's a different change from Monty City.
So she's from Fountain Springs.
Okay.
And obviously I'm from Monty City. So this is like a nice midpoint.
Me in the middle.
When we moved in together. And I always liked Frackville. I can't tell you why exactly, but I always liked Frackville.
When did you move out of Monty City?
It's been 5 years now.
Okay, because I was driving by and I would see like it's one of these like your mom on the front porch or something because he was like a porch sitter.
Oh, so we moved out of Monty City to Park Place. That was 2012.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. When I was a senior, we moved out of that house into Park Place.
Yeah, I always have like you dream it. So hopefully it one day comes true. Like I want to hit the lottery one day, or somehow this podcast blows up and I'm like a fucking millionaire.
Just keep working.
Probably won't ever happen, but my goal would be
the lottery. I'm gonna say don't bet on, but if you work hard,
I never play, so I'll never win.
Me neither,
because I don't like gambling.
I just don't go inside gas stations.
Yeah,
like I don't.
I mean, I can go in and be like, I have no like ambition or want.
I go into Wawa to take a leak in Reading because I have an hour drive home.
Slim Jims and energy drinks is what I get every
time. Don't even do that. I'm cheap.
But I want to, my goal, my dream is I want to eventually get out of this. If you don't know, we're in my shitty kitchen. But I want to get a location.
Yeah.
And when I get a location, I want like the Swiss pocket knife where I can do like maybe a brewery and like a theater and like a venue for music and all this really fun stuff. So my dream location would be get a bunch of money, and I want to buy the old intermediate school, and I want to turn that into my podcast studio.
Good luck with all that.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to have a lot of money, but could you imagine like
the lot of money part of it isn't for buying it; it's for
fixing it,
making it what you want it to be.
Yeah.
Because that place has been
desolated, and all
2004,
and all the copper stripped out and everything.
Right, 2004. Or no,
it was
no.
2000. I graduated 2004, so it was like
2001 or 2.
I would say 1 or 2, yeah.
Yeah, because if you graduated in 2005, then yeah.
But could you imagine that gymnasium, like wrestling venue, like wrestling shows there?
Yeah, that'd be dope. I played bitty basketball there.
Yes.
Hell yeah, bro.
And then like the auditorium would be like you can go see a band, like the new Goodfellas.
Yeah.
And then all the podcast studios in there, and then the basement where the auditorium, where the cafeteria was like a brew pub. No one steal my idea unless you want to build it with me. If you have money, you could be be my sugar daddy.
That would be incredible.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So you said you're excited for pro wrestling.
People would be pissed about the stairs, though.
I would get rid of those. You have to drive up.
Go on.
I would destroy that playground. I'd keep the basketball courts, but the playground's getting torn up.
I was gonna say, I know you're not getting rid of those basketball courts.
That was my least favorite court in town. That one.
It was never that nice.
I'd put better hoops on.
Yeah,
I hate those double rims.
It wouldn't take that much to fix.
Hate those double rims.
Double rims suck. I agree with that.
So, we're actually going to be with the podcast on July 24th. Is going to be the Legends of Hamburg. So, have you ever been to the Hamburg Fieldhouse?
Yeah.
So obviously, very historical.
Very
a
historical.
lot of big names were in there,
sure.
like Andre Hogan were in there.
You name them, they were there.
But so there's a fan fest, it's like a con, and then there's going to be a wrestling show. Outbreak Wrestling will be immediately after. That is January 24th. Tickets are on sale now. You can get them. This isn't a plug. I'm just telling you. But we're going to be there. But I just want to tell you some of the names are going to be there because it's kind of exciting. It sounds like I'm reading an ad, but I'm really not. I'm just only saying this because you're interested in professional wrestling.
Absolutely.
I cannot find the about.
And that's July time, so I may be able to talk Aaron if you're listening and do a
Bring the
little
baby.
date night.
Yeah, bring the baby.
If that baby's anything like me, no way.
That
was one thing my mom will tell you. I slept like a total in a 24-hour span. I would sleep like 3 hours.
Really?
Yeah, I would sleep like 2 hours in the night, maybe 3, then like maybe a half-hour nap in the middle of the day. I was never a sleeper. Like when I said before, I'm like all gas.
Yeah,
wasn't kidding. Since the time I came out of
So Cowboy Bob Orton Jr., Randy Orton's dad, Tito Santana, Jimmy the Mouth of the South's Heart, Tony Gurria, Brooklyn Brawler, New Jack, The Sandman, Too Cold Scorpio, Cortez Castro, which will be wrestling that night, defending his Outbreak Championship, Gene Snitsky, Todd Gordon, Gary Michael Capetta, Steve GWC Moran, Jimmy Monlex, Lance Onai, Tony Deppen, and more. We're all going to be there at this event.
Snitsky's got a quick ride to work.
Yeah, he's like right there about the So if you're interested in wrestling, you should definitely come out. It's gonna be a good time.
Absolutely.
I want to meet Jimmy Hart so bad.
That'd be cool.
That's the name I'm pumped for. But yeah, man. Anything else you want to talk about before we're getting close to the end here?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I got like 10 minutes and I got to be out of here for dinner.
Well, we'll wrap up here. So we're kind of talking about obviously doing the vocational thing. I think the route you went is definitely the route to go if you can do union. I worked for a bunch of local businesses and it didn't work out for me. I had a lot of really bad experiences.
I'm not gonna say I'm not a pro union guy. Obviously, I'm a union guy. I work in a union.
I'm pro.
I am absolutely 1,000,000% union.
Yeah.
Like I think every industry has a union, and you should look into getting into it. I mean, I got out of high school, and within I got my high school diploma on a Thursday. Monday, I had health benefits, a retirement, pension. I have everything set up for me, and I've been working on that for 10 years already.
Yeah.
I'm only 27 years old.
I'm not so much a union. I mean, if it is union, cool, but I'm not like, oh, it has to be or it can't be. I'm more like, just go for a place that's actually going to pay you what you're worth and treat you like you're a valuable human being.
My number one thing is don't waste your time.
Yeah.
I know I was lucky, and I figured out at a very young age that like college wasn't for me.
Yeah.
And I'll say I was lucky. I had an older brother, I had an older sister. They both went to college. I saw that we're both from the same town. We know how it is. We aren't super well off. My parents weren't able to pay for college for my brother or sister, so they had to do it on their own.
Mm-hmm.
I said, excuse me.
You're good. Beer burst, baby.
Yeah, I don't want to be doing that to your beer. But I saw what my brother and sister had in front of them, and I couldn't logically make sense out of that because I didn't. And on top of that, I didn't really like school.
Yeah.
And I helped my dad and all that all my life, fixing houses. I also another thing we didn't never touched on, but I also grew up racing dirt bikes my whole youth.
Yeah.
So I've always been doing stuff with my hands and all that. So I know I'm not going to say I wasn't lucky. I'm putting that at the forefront. I was absolutely lucky to know what I wanted to do at a young age. But what I want to do is challenge younger kids to think outside the box.
Yeah.
Because I know the box is college. And that's what everyone pushes, and that's what everyone says you got to do. It's not what you got to do.
Yeah. Find your niche.
Absolutely.
Because when I went to vocational school, I kind of went into a field I didn't want to do. And I did it just because my dad was like, you should do plumbing because plumbers make money. And I was like, oh, okay. So I did it because
you say that, and plumbing is the highest paid trade.
It's not in this area.
You're working there. I don't know. Listen, I know all the trades very well, and plumbing per trade is averagely, that's not a word.
Yeah.
On average, it's the highest paid trade.
So I would say
electrical is number 2. Yeah. So like when I went through Votech, or when I was going through trying to get into Votech, like obviously like any dumb kid, like what makes the best money?
Yeah.
Like I saw plumbing, and I was like, yeah, I'm not like, excuse my French, but I'm not playing with shit pipes.
Yeah, that's another
So
thing that
then-
turned me off as well. I have a weak stomach. I can't do bad smells.
I renovated my entire house, and hopefully someday I can have you up there and show you around. Maybe we'll go to Jimmy O's or something like
Yeah.
that. It's 2 blocks away from Jimmy O's.
Sounds good.
So, but I renovated the entire place, and my number one thing that I hated more than anything was the plumbing.
Yeah. Are you on the Monte area side, the Monte City side?
No, I'm on the Shendo.
The Shenandoah side. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, so I went and worked for 2, I guess you would say, bigger name companies in this area. I'm not going to say them and disparage them or give them bad anything, but they told me they were going to pay me a salary, which was a huge undercut from what I was getting in the factory. And I had to talk them up. Let's just put it this way. It's under what we're fighting for minimum wage right now. And it's about what minimum wage is what they were going to bring me in at.
So here is a advertisement for the union that I'm in. I am in the I'm out of local 743 IBEW. That's International Brothers of Electrical Workers.
That shit hit.
Austin's
watching on YouTube, so they haven't seen Taylor in so long. Sorry for the late tuning. Can't wait to watch the replay. There you go.
But anyway, yeah, I'm out of local 743 IBEW, and I can't speak on an exact term of what our starting wage is now, but 10 years ago, I started at $12 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
We get raises yearly, and I'm pretty positive they should be at probably $14 an hour to start. Yeah. That's for your first 1,000 hours, excuse me.
Yeah.
Work 1,000 hours, then you get a raise. Then you work another 1,000 hours, you get another raise. Then it's a tiered system from there. 2,000 hours, another raise. 2,000 hours after that, another raise, until you go through the whole 5-year apprenticeship. You top out at full journeyman rate. You become a journeyman.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of these local places probably keep you around or about what you would start at your max.
Which that's another reason why I'm super pro union. I just don't understand putting that much work into something and getting all the education on something and being okay with getting paid entry level.
Yeah.
Because
it
doesn't make any sense.
I quit a job to go to this one place, got there, and because I took a break from plumbing because I had a bad experience. I worked with a guy who was actually one of the adult students at the plumbing shop with me.
Okay.
We started working together, and I was still learning things. There's certain things I didn't learn in the shop, and I was there to like learn more on the job.
Yeah.
So I was an apprentice, so I didn't care about my money or my raise or anything like that because I was still like fresh out of high school. And he told me to test the transformer, and I went to hit it with the screw. Like he taught me how to do it with like a screwdriver where you arc it, and he dipped the screwdriver in oil before he handed it to me, and he hit and locked me up. And I just looked at him. I said, I'm going to kill. Like once I fucking catch my breath,
I punch him in the face.
I'm gonna fuck you up. And he's like, what? I said, I'm gonna beat your ass as soon as I get once I calm down. I'm gonna beat your ass. And he literally got in the company van and left me in Pottsville.
Yeah.
He left me in Pottsville because
I'm gonna wreck your face.
Yeah. He left, and the customer was like, "What's the matter?" I was like, "Can I use at this time? I didn't have a cell phone. I was like, "Can I use your phone to call one of my parents to come get me?" And she's like, "Why did he leave you?" And I was like, "I didn't want to once again put the company down."
Oh yeah.
I was like, "Oh, he had a jet," but the whole time I was like, "Because I threatened his life."
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when I worked with another company, I left a factory job to go there, and they told me they were going to agree for a price. And when I got in there, the day I showed up, they're like, "Oh, we thought about it. We're going to drop you down even lower." So I went from like what I negotiated to even lower. And I was like, "I'm out of here." And I went to turn the leaf, and then they gave me this price that I was going to come in at. And when I was talking to people at the job, I'm like, "Well, what do you make?" And the guy told me, and I was like, "What?" He's like, "What do you make?" And I told him. And I was like, and the boss like, "Why are you telling people what you make here?" I was like, "That's illegal." And I go, "No, it's not." And he goes, "Yes, it is. You can't talk."
What a moron.
He goes, "You can't talk about what you make to the other employees." I said, "The only reason that you don't want me talking about what we make is because you have everyone here so underpaid."
Yeah.
And he's like, and then I didn't stay much. I went right back to the factory. I was like, I'm not going in a septic tank for $10 an hour straight up. Like, I'm just not doing it. Yeah. And I walked into a job where it was just this family, their toilet was clogged, so they called for a clogged toilet. But what they didn't tell us is that it was clogged for had to been months, and they used a toilet to the point where it couldn't be used anymore. So it was full, like a mountain. Then they used the sink. Then they used the tub. I walked in, I looked at it. I just turned around. I said, I quit. I'm done. I'm out of here. I went right back to, I was like, I'm going back to factory work. So I've been working like distribution factory works ever since.
Yeah, I don't know how people live like that.
Yeah, if I can go back, I would say do Votech, but make sure you pick a field that you seriously want to do.
Yeah, get into something because you want to get into it. Don't just say, don't listen to. Also, another thing I want to say is don't listen to this podcast and just say like, oh, they said to get into Votech, so I'm going to go to Votech and just do whatever.
Listen, if you want to be a doctor, don't go to Votech.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
absolutely. Listen,
Find
yeah,
your
we
niche.
need doctors.
Find your niche.
We need name whatever you want to go to college for. I don't know.
You see
I'm
that
sorry,
they're 3D printing houses now.
that scares me.
Well, like so when
No,
I say
I
3D,
didn't see that. But
so like yeah, they make like 3D, like it like prints out a thing that's almost like a concrete, like it's like almost like a steel concrete thing, and they're putting frames of houses up and like
carbon fiber.
I guess so. Or they have also robots that they put a robot in the center and it literally lays all the brick down, like the spackle brick, the whole nine, and then you build the frame inside of it after it's done.
This is why you need to go to Votech, kids. All right? We need
robotics.
Skip these robotics. No one will be. One thing for sure. Okay, like bricklayers. That's another trade at Votech that we were trying to go over before.
Masonry
one. Yeah,
masonry is
sure. But if you want something that can't be done by robots, be an electrician, because try to explain to me how a robot can run conduit or maybe pull wire. But
we have robots that can disarm wire. I'm sure we can train the dude to run it too. It's gonna be like Will Smith in this bitch soon. So just like they walk.
Anybody sees that works at Hydro and all the controls that are done there, explain to me how a robot can go into one of those cabinets. When we get off here, I'll show you a picture of the one cabinet that I took a few years ago that probably wasn't touched since like 1940.
Oh,
make you scratch your head and say, "Yeah, robot going there. Good luck."
Yeah. Not happening.
Not happening.
But I appreciate you coming in, man. It was a good time. Thank you for the beers. We had some good. What's your favorite? We'll like a bag of beers. Northern Lights your number one. I would say I'm torn. I can go either way, but these two are my favorite.
But hey, it's not on top, but I'm putting it in there just so it's visually all right. Halocentric. They're never bad.
There's a lager out right now by New Trail I want to try.
I was gonna get it, but I was like,
I'm a lager pilsner guy. I love my lager and pilsners.
I was check your Untapped. I sent you a friend request. I was trying.
Is that what you were doing before?
I was trying to creep on you and try and figure out what you like, and then I was gonna bring something like that. But
you're Untapped creeping.
I just
my
brought a little bit of everything.
So unreliable. What is your like absolute go-to beer? Like you watch like that if you're out and you're gonna buy it.
Honestly, I can't say because I'm very like moody.
I'm a Lord Chesterfield Ale by Yingling. That's my go-to beer.
I'm very moody. Like sometimes like I'll be like, I have a taste for an IPA. I need an IPA.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes I'll get a real strong taste for a lager or like a brown ale or a stout. Or I'm never. I don't really have a go-to.
Yeah.
I will say my go-to if I'm just gonna like drink a case of beer today. Like if we're going to a tailgate, like we're gonna tailgate today, and you gotta bring a case of beer with you. Probably gonna bring Yingling light lager.
Light lager.
Yeah.
I think if I
could drink 30 of those.
I think if I was gonna do it all day, I would go Flights. I like the new Flights.
You're probably right. I haven't done an all dayer since they came out.
That's a good all dayer beer.
But a real
and they
quick
sell
thing,
them in 24 pounders.
Me and my wife went to Black Diamond the day the Black Diamond got those, right? And drink it, and she's like, she got it. I got like something like this, or I got some craft there, and she's like, this tastes like Michelob. I was like, I have an idea. Pulled one of the girls over. I was like, can I get a Michelob?
They're very similar.
Did Michelob Flight? I'm like, it's the same beer.
Yeah, they made the Flight to be the Michelob killer,
and it's cheaper. So yeah, of course,
local. Yeah, and they did. My opinion, I think they did the mango to compete with Icy Light Mango. Because that's another big seller.
Not a fan of Raging Eagle.
I'm not a fan either.
I don't know what it is, but like it just doesn't hit.
For me, and I'll get you out of here. I'm sorry, but like the all these fruit flavored beers that I've had on the craft beer shows and stuff, I've had really good fruit flavored beers. So when Yingling did it,
I'm not just saying this because I'm doing work for them and I'm friends with the Budwashers, but I can't wait for them to open because if you're listening to this, their sours are, I don't know if this is a word, but unsensibly good.
Yeah.
They don't like, it doesn't make sense
that ruby
how
one was
good
really
they are. Like they're cool. Colin poured me one the last time I was, not the last time, but whatever. One of the last times I was there, he poured me one. I think it was cool sour idea 6 or 7. One of those.
The one they did with the North.
It was 8%. And I didn't know that until after I checked it in on tap. I just like drank it. And then I was driving home and I was like, oh, that was 8%.
Yeah. They do good
But
stuff.
it's so good.
I don't like stouts, and they make good stouts too.
They make good everything.
Yeah, they're gonna be a good
And
brewery.
that's and if you guys listen to this, that's why I support you guys and I help you guys out, because you make good stuff. I'm again, we said way back in the beginning, I got that from my mom. I'm hot and cold. If I don't like you, I don't fuck with you.
Mhm.
But if I like you, I'm gonna support you. I'm gonna push you up, and I'm gonna hook you. I'm gonna help you out as much as I can.
Yeah.
And everything they make has like that. The Gears Citra.
I have a Gears tattoo.
That's awesome.
Winnie the Pooh drinking a Gears. I'm getting a Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, and I'm gonna do the one with him with 4 arms. And the one arm is going to be pounding a chetty. The other arm is going to be holding Middleworth's barbecue chips. The other hand's going to be having like a kielbasa from Kevalonics. And the other one's going to have Miller's Hopaloni.
That's awesome.
It's going to be like Stitch. He's going to be the School County Stitch. Awesome. But let me get you out of here. You got dinner to eat. I appreciate you coming and hang out, man. Anytime you want. We gotta do it again.
Yeah, I gotta come in for one of your tornado tags or banging beers. I mean, banging beers. I listened to your last one, and you guys seem way too educated for me.
No,
you guys were talking about like hops and stuff like that. I was like, I don't know what is going on.
No, you'll be fine.
I am really dumb.
Yeah.
Like,
so are we.
Again, hot and cold. I'm hot and cold with everything. So
I fake it till I make it, brother.
That's my life motto.
I fake it till I make it. But you're only a couple blocks away, so anytime you want, I'll add you when we leave here. I'll add you to our seat fill-in chat.
Word.
And I have like a little chat for people who live closer that really enjoy what we do here. If we have an open seat, you can come join us.
I see you with. You have one of the bros that goes to the Frackville Fitness here. I don't know his name.
Andy?
Beard.
Oh, Ben?
It might be Ben.
Ben, he was a former member. We're still cool, but he's not on Banging Beers.
He's not in it anymore.
No, but the other guy
he refers to me. The other guy is a ponytail.
That's Andy. He does the wrestling show. He's an actual wrestler in the area.
Really? I didn't know he wrestled.
Yep.
Oh shit.
He looks like Matt Hardy.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see that. Yeah, I see him at the gym every now and then.
What does Ben refer to you as?
Ben refers me as Dark Lad.
Dark Lad.
So obviously black t-shirt. I wear a lot of black stuff, and when I'm in the gym, I go into like this weird, like I get zoned in.
You get angry.
Extremely angry.
Yeah.
At everything, and I can't talk to you. Like I'll see anybody. Like I know my surroundings. Don't get me wrong, but like
a head nod, a move.
It's just like, head nod.
No conversation.
I'm head down, and earbuds are in, and it's heavy, loud metal. And I'm lifting really heavy things, and I'm really angry.
I see that. You're hulking up on me.
But I get it all out there. That's why I could be like cool now. Like that's why like I see him there, and like when I finish he always like Ben's a good guy.
He is.
And I always feel bad because he always like tries to say hi to me and stuff like that. Like when I'm in the zone. Mm-hmm. So like at the end of my workout, I always like kind of stop him like, "How you doing, bud?" Like, he always says like, "How you doing, Dark Lad?" And I was like, first time he said it to me, I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, you're like dark, like."
But in Ben's head,
see it in your eyes.
You guys had this conversation, like this whole dark. He's told you in his head that Dark Lad. And so, So when he presents it to you, it's the first time you're
like,
hearing
I should
it.
Know.
But he's already aware. Like he thinks you should be aware of it already. Yeah.
No, but when he did say it, I was like, makes sense.
Yeah. His heart is in the good spot. He just,
absolutely.
He's sometimes just socially awkward.
Absolutely.
Yeah. His timing is not always the greatest, but he's a good human.
Absolutely.
He means the best all the time.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. He almost died the other day. I thought benching. He was on the one bench, and thank God it had safeties on it.
The Smith machines.
No. There's a bench at the Frackville Fitness. Well, it's not Frackville Fitness anymore. It's Iron House Fitness. Yeah. But it has safeties, and he was like, purposely overloading himself, and I didn't know that. Excuse me.
Yeah.
The burp.
Was he by himself?
Yeah. But I was over on the other side of the room doing decline bench, So I was like kind of like taking a break from my last set, and I saw him over there, and I saw him drop it on his chest. Well, it dropped on the safeties,
Yeah.
but like the safeties were right at a point that you couldn't tell. So I ran over there like ready to like pick it off his chest, and so he doesn't die.
Yeah.
And he started laughing and like kind of came on and he's like, "No, don't worry, I have the safeties on. Like I did that purposely." I was like, "You're gonna fucking like make me take a heart attack, bro. Like seriously."
Yeah, he's a fun cat. Yeah, he was part of Banging Bears for a long time, and then he had to take a step away.
Hey, it is what it is, man.
Yeah, he's doing some stuff on his own, but yeah, he's a good guy.
All right, well, hey,
We're out of here.
end
Thank
the
you for the
glass,
beers,
cheers.
and go Bears.
Go Bears.
What did Austin say here at the end? Comparable to Mellow Mink. Oh, okay, he likes Mellow Mink beers. That's where we're gonna go when he comes home. He actually comes home in 4 at the end of this month.
All right.
We're going out to pick him up, and he's getting restationed in.
I heard you talk to Yeti about that.
Yeah, so when he comes home, we'll all maybe make a brewery trip.
Nice.
We'll all get together and go out. But all right, we'll see you guys later. Here's some Steve Fulton. We'll see you next time.